Hey, what's going on guys, TurtyWurty here, and welcome back to another Minecraft modding tutorial for version 1.12.2. In this tutorial we are going to be going over how to create a config. This is quite a simple thing to do, so let's go ahead and get started. Firstly, we're going to go into our main class, so tutorial mod, and at the very top you want to go ahead and you want to put public static file, and we're going to call this config, and that's if I could spell public right, there we go. This is going to be java.io.file, yep, that one right there. Beautiful, so that's all we want for our main class. Next, in fact we will do registry handler later. Next we're going to create the config class. So inside of handlers you want a new class, and we're going to call this config handler, just like that. This is not going to extend or implement anything. In here we want to create a public static configuration, and we're going to call that config. Just import this. We're importing this from net.minecraftforge.common.config. Next we're going to need to define some variables. So these variables are going to be the IDs that we want to change. First let's actually create the init method. So we're going to create a public static void. We're going to call that init. This is going to take in file and import file from java.io.file. In here we need to config is equal to a new configuration of a file, just like that. There you go. Next we need to create a string named category, just an empty string variable for now, and that is it for this little method for now. Next we're going to create public static void register config. This is going to take in the FML pre-initialization event. Inside of here we're going to put tutorial mod.config is equal to a new file event.getMod configuration directory plus, and in here we're going to put slash, so speech marks slash plus reference .mod id. That basically means it goes to the default directory. Next you want to do tutorial mod.config.make dirs, so make the directories. Then we're going to call the init method, and we're going to init a new file tutorial mod, so your main class .config.getPath, reference .mod id plus .cfg, so .config, just like that. So next we're going to go into all of our classes where we have IDs. It's all going to be in ref. All of these IDs here is what we're going to copy these variables from reference, and we're going to put them into our config handler below this, so like that. There we go. And then we can remove them from reference, so let's just get rid of those, give that a save. Obviously that is going to cause a lot of errors, so we need to go ahead and need to fix these. So they're reasonably easy to fix, they're just going to be a bit annoying. So instead of this being reference.entityMagiball, first actually we need to make these not final. So just remove the final identifier from all of these, because we want them to be able to be changed. Now in entity init we can do config handler dot entity magic ball. We can do config handler dot entity diamond arrow, config handler dot entity test, just like that. So that's our entity init. Then we have the three tile entities, so silver chest NA, and silver furnace. So once again, just going to change this to config handler, so just import config handler, and we're just going to change that in here, import it, and we're going to change it in here, we're going to import it, Control Shift S, save everything. So those are those done. And I think there was one more, yes, in GUI handler. So just change all of these to config handler instead of reference. Give that a save, just like that. So now that is all the errors fit. Right, now what we need to go ahead and do is actually create what's going to be in our config file. So let's go. So first is the first category. So category is equal to string. So it's going to be a string, of course. And this is going to be what the name of the category is. So first I'm going to put GUI IDs. Oh, also dimensions. Let's go ahead and do that as well. So init, dimension init. So here, these variables here. So let's go ahead and create these. So never temp is the first one. Public static int never temp is equal to, and then what have we equaled that to? 2 is equal to 2. There you go. So we can just comment this dimensions. We can comment this for entities, and this is the GUI IDs. There we go, just like that. So now we can go ahead change these to config handler never temp, I mean, not but you need to make sure you change the ones down here as well as the ones up here. So overworld temp dot end temp dot never temp dot overworld temp dot end temp, just like that. Give that a save. Now we can close that. So first is the GUI IDs. So then we need to do config dot add custom category comment. So first is going to be the category, and the comment is going to be set IDs for each GUI. So that's just what I'm going to call it. That's what I'm going to label it as. Obviously you can set this to whatever you want for that. In here we need to do GUI underscore silver chest is equal to config dot get int, and I think we want, yeah, that top one. So first is the name, which is going to be GUI silver chest. Category is just category. The default value is going to be this value up here. So default is 2. The minimum value that you can set it to, I'm going to set that to be 0. The maximum value I'm going to be set to be 500, and the comment is just going to be GUI ID for the silver chest. So now I'm going to go ahead and do these for the other two GUIs, and I will be back with you for that. Alright, so that is the GUIs done. Next is the entities. So what you want to do here is we're going to do category is equal to, and it's going to be the name of a category, entity IDs Then we do config dot add custom category comments, category, set IDs for each entity. And then we do the same as we did for this. So the first one, I'll just do the first one and then you can do it from there. So entity test is equal to config dot get ints. This is the name. So entity test category. Default value is going to be 250. Minimum value, I'm just going to put 250. Maximum value, I'm going to put 500. Comment is the entity test ID, just like that. I'm going to do that for the other two entities, and I will be back with you then. So that is the entity IDs done. So next we're going to create another category, and that is going to equal dimension IDs. Then we do config dot add custom category comments. Category, the comment is set IDs for each dimension, and I'll do the first one again. So never underscore temp is equal to config dot get int. The first is the name, which is dimension never template. Category is category. Default value is 2. Minimum value is 2. Maximum value, I'm gonna put 500. And the comment is dimension ID for the never template. I'm now going to go and do these for the other two dimensions, and I'll be back with you then. Alright, so now that is the dimension IDs done. The next thing I would like to go over is whether our test biome spawns in the overworld or not. So you can make that a configurable value. So whether it does spawn or whether it doesn't. So to do that, let's first go into biome init. No, in fact, let's do the config handler first. So we're going to create a new category, and that is going to equal miscellaneous. So miscellaneous. I think that's how you spell it. I don't know. I think that's right. And then we do config dot add custom category comments. So once again, category, and I'm going to do set miscellaneous things is what I'm going to put, because you could have other things in here as well. And then we can do, so let's first create the thing. So miscellaneous, I think that's how you spell it. That might be totally wrong though. So that is going to be a public static boolean test underscore biome. And by default, we want that to equal false. Then we can do test biome is equal to config dot get boolean. The name is going to be test biome spawning or test biome generating. Category is category. Default value is false, and the comment is going to be whether the test biome generates in the overworld. Then we can go into biome init, and we can create an if statement. So if config handler dot test biome, so that's if it's true, then we can go ahead and do biome manager dot add biome, add biome, b type, and new biome entry. Oh, I didn't mean to put a space there. entry, biome, and 10. So 10 is the weight, just so you know. And that means if the config says that it is true, then it will add the biome to biome manager, which means it will be in the overworld. So that's all I'm going to do, but obviously you can do this for other things. So recipes, you could have smelting recipes enabled or disabled by doing the same thing we did with biomes. So I'm actually going to do that for this smelting recipe, and I'll be back with you when I have done that. Alright, so I have done that. So equals config.getBoolean, blah blah blah. I have set the default to be true, so by default it does do the obsidian ingot recipe, and the comment is just enable/disable the obsidian to obsidian ingot smelting recipe. Obviously in smelting recipes I just did a simple little if statement, and that should work fine. Obviously you can do this with other things, maybe tabs, anything that is registered in, let me see, anything that is registered in pre-init you should be able to do, or anything that is registered in init registries, in fact. So you could have one for this art that we have done here. You can get rid of ores, you can do crafting recipes, you can totally get rid of GUIs. I don't know why you'd want to do that. I don't think you can mess with on block register and on item register because it is registered before all of this. So I don't think you can do that, sadly. It would be cool to have like a config for items and stuff, but it's, yeah, you can't really do that. Obviously you can actually have a boolean for whether the entity exists or not. That's something you can totally do. But yeah, that's all we're going to do for our config file. But we need to make sure we register it, of course. So inside of pre-init registries at the bottom, we are just going to put config handler dot register config event. So you can see that's not going to work because we have an error. So what we need to do is these need to have a new parameter, fml pre-initialization event, which means we can go into our main class and we just pass in the event parameter, just like that, and then voila, it's all pretty dandy. Now let's actually go and check that it exists. I'm not going to try to edit the config file because I don't want to, but I will show you that it does exist. And yeah, so obviously you can see it's not here, but we should be able to refresh it. Oh no, we need to run the game. Alright, I think I actually just accidentally ran it twice. Yes, I did. Alright, so guys, I have just refreshed it and it has come up a folder called tutorial mod. If you go in here, there is tutorialmod.config. Oh, one thing I forgot to do is actually save the config. Let's go back into our config file, because when you make the config, you need to make sure you save it. You need to go down to the very bottom, and at the bottom you need to put config.save, just like that. That's a simple little thing that I missed. Right, so guys, the game is now loaded, so hopefully we can refresh this. I can open it, and here it is. So configuration file, dimension IDs, set IDs for each dimension. Obviously there's 4, range is 2 to 500, and it has done these for all of these. Yeah, that's the config file. That will be available in your mod for anyone who wants to change these IDs. That's it really. So obviously it says integer, I for integer, B for boolean. You can also have floats. So if you have any float values that you wanted to be editable, then You can put them in your config file. Anything that you want to be configured by mod pack makers, you probably want to put in your config file. If you did enjoy this tutorial, please do be sure to smash your face into that like button and subscribe. If you really enjoyed, please do be sure to share it. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.